Hello, this is Ron Brown. It's Friday afternoon. This is the 12th of February 2021. I'm putting this video together for the Insider Club for those of you who have access to my latest files. And the reason I'm doing this is I am looking for ways to simplify the process for entries for getting into stocks. And I've done a lot of research during the week, and I've come to the conclusion that the VPOC, or the volume point of control, 10 periods, 10 buckets, is often an early indicator to get into a stock. It's when the bulls take over from the bears, and I'm going to put a crosshair up here. So this was bearish based upon the volume point of control, and then it becomes more bullish here as it turns from magenta to green. Now there's a one-day pullback, and then the bulls take over again. You can see that an entry here on this VPOC, in addition to an effort to rise VPA, would have been a very good signal to take a few points out of this trade. So what I've done is I've created a new chart for you. It's really just a modification of another chart, but if you have my files, I want you to go down, and my files are Ron Brown top-down analysis charts. I want you to go down to chart number 10. It is expansion, contraction, pocket pivots, and VPOC, or volume point of control. It's right under the position sizing chart. And what I've done, I've just taken another chart and added a few things to it and removed a few things. I believe I started here with chart number 4, and by adding the volume point of control, I can get a visual of when the transformation took place. So let's use this chart again while it's up here. You can see that on the downside here, the negative volume point of control didn't take over until right here. Then there was a one-day bounce, and then it resumed. But when I get down here to the bottom, you can see there's a hammer. There are a couple of VPA flags here, including an effort to rise, and also strength returning after a downtrend, and then a confirmation of that. And the VPOC has turned positive, and the stock begins to move up. Now down here in this area, the yellow line is the group line. So I added that also because I wanted to be able to see what the group was doing when the stock was in motion. If you look closely, you can also see that the price is down here. It's just a compressed version of the price up here, and when the price goes above the VPOC, this blue line, this represents the volume point of control. It turns green and stays green until it goes down below it. Maybe this is not necessary, but I included those a long time ago in another chart, so I just brought them over. But the key here is that when I'm prospecting now using the volume point of control as a trigger, I can quickly see when their trigger occurred and see what other signals are. So here's a confirmation not only on the volume point of control, but also on pocket pivots, and then the VPA flags also. So several signals on this turned out to be a really good signal, as you can see. They don't all work out this well, but this would have been a very low risk trade with a stop down below this hammer, and then a trailing stop on the way up. Now I also have in here the 3, 6, and the 18 because I like to see stocks that are moving up to the point where the 3 is crossing the 6, and it looked like that happened about here. So in this instance, the early signal is the volume point of control. Now I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go back over here, and show you what I'm using here. And by the way, when you download the files, you will have all of these scans. So once again, the purpose of these is to locate entry points to the long side using the volume point of control. Now this is a basic one. And by the way, I've cut the number of stocks appearing down to 25. It gets tedious after that to look through charts. These are the scans from last night or early this morning, and then I am using the intraday view. Now I want to explain this. You should be using these views for the smart groups. I put them together for a specific reason. I have end of day view smart groups, end of day with stocks assigned to industry groups, because some stocks will appear in here that are not yet assigned to industry groups. They're IPOs generally. Then here's the intraday view and the intraday view assigned to industry groups. Now I'm just going to use number 2, and I want to point some things out here. If you look at these columns right here, and this is what's important, the days since the 3 crossed the 6. If it's 0, that means it happened today. This is the days down since the 3 crossed the 6. This is the days since the volume point of control 1010 crossed over. A crossover is today, or a 0, I'm sorry, is today. 1 would be yesterday. This column right here tells you how far the volume point of control is from the crossover. So a high number means that there's been big movement, or the volume point of control is moving up sharply. Let me just, I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one here. Okay, let's just look at Huya. It was up big the last 2 days. I don't know what it's doing today, but I'll bring it up, and it looks like it is continuing to go up after a little gap down today. This is today. This is live. And let me make this chart a little bit bigger. You can see that, well, I went ahead and rebuilt the groups too, but I put this box in here so I could see what the industry group is doing today. And it's up slightly on, let's see what the market's doing. I think it's pretty flat today. And beginning of the week, it's up 5.22%. And from last Friday, it's up 5.86%. So the group has been going up, and you can see that with the yellow line. But here is the latest signal on Huya. Now I didn't put this together before Huya popped out of here, but boy, what a good trade that would have been. And you can see, just starting down here at the volume point of control, it went from negative, this is negative, to positive on this effort to rise. There was a pocket pivot. The 3-day went above the 6-day. You can tell that with the histogram right here. Why don't I enlarge this chart so we can all see it better? You can see the 3 went above the 6, and the 6 was already above the 18. So the intermediate term trend, or actually the short-term trend, was already up, and then here's a pullback, here's a confirmation of this, and then there was a follow-through. So it appeared on this day, or this night. It would not have appeared on this until the end of this day. So this one, you know, that's a pretty big move. It's a little tough to take those that have moved up, but really look at it. It was just getting up to resistance, and then it followed through dramatically the next day, and sold off a little bit on early morning weakness today, and now it seems to be going again. You can see the candles down here. They're a compressed version. But it just shows the strength of this as it does up here. So that was an excellent call. Here was some choppiness here, No question about it. It turned, it was just a one down day, and then it went up, and then those who bought here were shaken out here. They were scalped, and you have to be careful about this. But you can also see by looking at the candles that the strength on these two candles was not that great because there are large upper wicks on here. So they sold off. Here's a pullback. Here's an inside day. And then the following day it took off. But let's go back here to this one. Now you can see that this was in a counter trend. What do I mean by counter trend? The green line was below the red line, and it was going down. So on this day, there was a volume point of control signal. The following day, there was a pocket pivot, and then on the following day, another pocket pivot. Those who bought this one were scalped for a few dollars, but notice that the 3 remained above the 6. You have to take all these into account. On a one-day pullback is really nothing. You have to be aware of that. If it goes beyond 2, then there's probably a trend change, but this didn't even was not even close to being a trend change. A little shakeout. If you have too close to stops, you're going to get shaken out of these stocks. So be careful about that. But anyway, let's assume that this were purchased here off the VPOC or the following day and was ridden through. And I'm going to use my alternate A key. And let's just take it from here up to where it currently is. You can see that that's a 65% gain if you look down here at the bottom over 28 days. But yes, there was some choppiness in here. There was some selling here. So I can't just say that, if you'd have bought it and held it, that you would have done that, or I would have done it. But what I'm trying to point out are the entries. And then you'll see that what happens is we go from expansion to contraction, or this could be called the impulse, and this is the reaction. The trends really remained up because on this, the short-term trend, notice that the histogram remained positive. Yes, these are tough to deal with, but once again, these are single days. If you get 2 days, like I said, then you've got something to worry about. But stops that are trailing too closely will be taken out. And then the inside day, which means that the selling is over. You can also see the wick here, and then it exploded. By the way, this appeared in the top 50 group inclusion report on this day. Okay, I want to move on. I do want to point out that this view uses the intraday price change, intraday range combo to drive the stocks that best fit this to the top of the list. And I'll sort on raw combo, and you can see that the stock is up 3.39% at 94% of its daily range, and the volume is up. The combo seems to work very well, and as you get down towards the end or to the bottom, number 25, the combo has less effect. Look at this. This is down 9%. So always concentrate on the ones at the top of the list. Now, this is end-of-day data, but I'm viewing it through my intraday scan because I'm seeing which of these stocks follow through on the end-of-day group. So let's look at this one. See back here, here was the VPOC, nice run up, turned negative here, and then yesterday the VPOC turned positive again, and you can see that it's following through today. There was also a pocket pivot yesterday. Also, the 3 went above the 6. You can tell that there, and there's also a small green dot there. So what I'm using is I'm using everything really based upon price and volume, which fits right in with the VPA. And here before the move came up, there was a no supply VPA flag, and then confirmation here with the volume point of control. So this is just one of many scans. Now, this is a 2-day window, the 3 below the 6. This is a counter trend scan. I'm going to click through to this. What do I mean by this? I mean that I am looking, wow, this is an ITL. Let's find something else. Let's go down to this one. I am looking for, this is a very loose chart. I wouldn't even bother looking at it, and I'm not going to. I'm looking for something that's much tighter. So at this point, let's take a look at this. Go down here to the warehouse. This is the days since the 3 down, cross down through the 6. This would be the 6th day because 0 is always a crossover day. And then this is the days since the VPOC, volume point of control. So happened here, and until today, actually, let me get in a little closer here. It's hard to see. That's why you can see that it's red down here, and then it turned green today. But you can also see the accumulation in this stock, Peabody Energy. Look how it closed near the top of its daily range for, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And today it's starting to move. We got the VPOC yesterday, and also a VPA flag strength seen returning. Now it's still, here's the impulse, here's the contraction, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. It's still within this range. The trend is really not, in short term, it's flat. So, you know, it may or may not go, but the point is that these signals are working. Let's see if I can find Rockwell Automation. You can see that this turned negative 13 days ago, but the VPOC is appearing today. So where is the 13 days ago? Would be clear back here. I can tell that by looking at the histogram, and it's remained red until the VPOC turned positive today. This is an expensive stock. This is what's happening intraday. So with these counter trend scans, what we're looking for are stocks that have pulled back. The 3 is below the 6, and then when the VPOC, or volume point of control, is brought into play, that's an early indication that there are buyers coming into a stock. Doesn't mean they're going to follow through, but it just means they're coming in. So let's take a look at PetMed Express here. This happened 9 days ago. The 3 went down through the 6. The VPOC is today. Make this larger, and you can see that there has been accumulation going on here. It isn't going anywhere yet, but as of yesterday, the VPOC came in. There's no pocket pivot, no other confirmation other than the 3 going up through the 6 today. Just remember, the counter trends are to find stocks that have pulled back and are going again. Now here is another view. This has the fan up. If you want to make sure that the fan is up, use this one. And I'll just go up to chart number 7, and you can see that the fan is in place. 200, 150, and 18. And what do we have here? We have a low pivot on this one, today, but the VPOC turned positive yesterday. So the VPOC turned positive here. It's remaining positive today. This stock looks like it's setting up. Earnings are actually today. So you have to be careful with that one. I'm going to drop back down to my other chart. You can see the group is flat, but you know, it's under consolidation. Not doing much yet. These two, or this one, I'm sorry, this is going to find stocks that are getting a signal to go today. These are counter trends. They are giving signals, but a lot of times they still have to set up. Now here's the same as this, except the fan is in place. So let's take a look at the top stock, and you can see that yesterday, if I look here, 0, which means yesterday, because this is the end of day, that's where the flag, or the signal was, I'm sorry, a couple of VPA flags, and you can see it's following through today. There was also a pocket pivot yesterday, and the 3 went above the 6. This was the counter trend until this point, and then it moved up. I'm going to quickly go through the rest of these. You can play with these and try to find some good trades. Okay, here's a 2-day window, but this includes a positive 3-6 crossover. So the 3 and the 6 have to be positive. These others, they don't have to be positive. So I'll click through to the warehouse. Go up to the top. We looked at that stock. Let's look at MCOR. There's a crossover here on the 3 and the 6. It is a 2-day window. You can see that 1 means it happened day before yesterday, and 0 means the crossover happened today. So my thinking here is that the volume point of control is occurring today, and it can be a volume point. It isn't occurring today, I'm sorry. This is based upon the 3 and 6 crossover. This right here, but the VPOC has to be positive. And you can look down here and you can see that there's a stock that the VPOC has been positive for 33 days. But yet the 3 and the 6 just crossed over yesterday. Let's take a look at this stock. It's a little $5 stock. Here's where the VPOC went positive, clear back here when it was trading for $2. It's trading for $5.50 now. There were several pocket pivots along the way. There was a negative pocket pivot here, but the VPOC remained positive. So even on this pullback here, it did not turn negative. Okay, I'll go. Okay, let's try this one. Have I looked at this one? No, I have not looked at this. Okay, the VPOC is positive. It crossed over today along with the 3 and 6. So another good trade today in a flat market. I'll go down a little. Let's go down and look at this Sohu. You can see that the 3 crossed the 6 yesterday and the VPOC the day before. So here's the 3 crossing the 6, or the VPOC crossed here. Here's the 3 crossing the 6 on this day, and we're getting follow through again today. All right. Now this one is VPOC up. This one includes pocket pivots and 3-6 crossover. I don't like to add too many indicators to each of these, but I just thought I would throw these 2 in, and it would require pocket pivots also. You can see the pocket pivots here. I don't have a days, the number of days back. It's not part of the program where I can see where the pocket pivot signal is generated. Yeah, you're going to have to do it on the chart, but it's obviously easy to see with the blue lines here. So that's fan up, 3-6 crossover with pocket pivot. This is another scan. It's a continuation scan. And what this does is it looks for stocks that are continuing to move, and there's really no requirement on the number of days for the either the crossover of the 3 and the 6 or the VPOC. It just means that there has to be a pocket pivot in here. And you can see that there's a lot of blue here as this stock has continued higher. Let's go down the list a little bit. There's no crossover requirement. So what this is doing is locating stocks that are continuing with the indicators in place. These are positive, the 3-6 crossover, but the main thing is that there are continuing pocket pivots. And volume point of control is also positive. Let's take a look at this one here, QFIN. The reason it caught my eye is the 3-6 crossover 30 days ago, and the VPOC crossover 24 days ago. I'll look at these two. I don't know anything about either one of them, but you can see that the pocket pivots are firing. Each of these would have been continuation signals wherever there's a pocket pivot. That's why I call it continuation. So all throughout here, you can see that the VPOC was positive, the 3-6, 3 was above the 6, and the pocket pivots are firing. That's why it is called continuation. All of this area here was continuation. Then we had a negative pocket pivot for 1 day, but you can see there were no 2 consecutive down days. So this is a trade that you stay in. Pocket pivot, that's why it's showing today. One more. All of these are continuation signals. VPOC has been positive from clear back here, and the 3 has been above the 6 going back even further. Well, right here. They both crossed over at that point at 60 cents. Okay, I'm going to end this. I want you to play with these. See if you can come up with some good trades. I put a lot of thought into these this week, and the reason that I'm focusing on these is I'm trying to really simplify the process. I've got a lot of inventory up here, and it's just too easy to get lost with all this inventory. So if we can settle on just a few scans that do the job, it'll really cut down on your prospecting time, or our prospecting time. And as you can see, there are a lot of good trades that come up based upon just these few scans. Like I said, I'm limiting these to 25 because you do more than that, I think it just gets too cumbersome. Now I could change that again to 50. The only reason I would do that is somewhere down in that 50 list on the end of day, some of those may suddenly appear at the top on the intraday, and that would be the only reason for doing it. So I'm going to go with the 25 for now and see what happens. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend, and I'll try to keep talking about these things, looking for trades, and